The pager didn't buzz that night. It screamed. 3 long pulses instead of 1, which every nurse on the floor knew meant multiple incoming, and I felt my stomach fold in on itself before I even reached the desk. "Mass casualty inbound," Priya said, already grabbing gowns. "Warehouse roof collapse. 5 confirmed, maybe more." I had been a nurse for exactly 19 days. 19. I still practiced my own name in the mirror before shifts like it might come out wrong under pressure. And of all the surgeons in that hospital, the one striding out of the stairwell, tying his mask behind his neck without breaking stride, was Dr. Julian Marsh. The man who'd told me on my 3rd day that my knot on a pressure dressing was decorative, not functional, in front of 2 attendings and a med student who still snickered about it in the cafeteria. I hated him. Quietly, professionally, the way you're allowed to hate a man who signs your competency evaluations. "Bennett," he said, not breaking stride, "you're with me in Bay 3. "Yes, Doctor." "Don't call me that tonight. Call me Marsh. Doctor takes a syllable too long when I need you moving." That was the first time I understood this shift would be different. Not because he was suddenly kind, but because urgency had stripped something off him, some layer of performance he usually wore like a second white coat. The first patient came in already grey, a beam crush injury to the pelvis, and Marsh's hands moved faster than I'd ever seen a person's hands move without looking rushed. I called out vitals. He didn't tell me to shout twice. He didn't correct my knots. He said, "Good," once, so quietly I almost missed it, and something in my chest did an embarrassing, traitorous flip. By the 3rd patient, we'd stopped needing full sentences. I'd hand him what he needed before he asked, and he'd glance at me for exactly half a second, like he was recalibrating something about who I was. Around 4 in the morning, in the 60 seconds of quiet between the 4th and 5th patient, he leaned against the supply cart, mask pulled down around his throat, and said, "You're not still decorative. I've been told." I should have said it differently. That day, he wasn't looking at me. "You'd been here 3 days. I said it like you'd been here 3 years. I didn't know what to do with an apology from a man I'd spent 2.5 weeks building a case against in my head. It's a strange thing, isn't it? How we decide someone early, file them under a label, and then flinch when reality doesn't match the file. I wonder if everyone's done that to somebody. I know I had a whole speech ready for my roommate about what a cold, arrogant man he was, and here he was, undone at 4 in the morning, looking almost young. The 5th patient was the one that nearly broke the night. A teenager, maybe 17, crush injuries to the chest, and for the first time all shift I heard Marsh's voice climb. Not at me, not at anyone, just at the monitor, like he could argue with the numbers themselves. I put my hand flat on his forearm, just for a second, an instinct more than a decision, and said, "I've got the line. You've got him." He looked at my hand like it had said something. Then he nodded and went back to work, and the boy made it to the AOR breathing on his own steam, and I don't know if my hand did anything at all, but I know Marsh thanked me for it later like it had. Dawn came in grey through the ambulance bay doors, the kind of light that makes everyone look 10 years older and somehow more human. 5 patients stabilized, 1 still touch and go upstairs, and Marsh and I standing in the hallway in blood-flecked scrubs neither of us had the energy to be embarrassed about. "I owe you a real apology," he said. "Not the 4 a.m. version. A sit-down, coffee, I was wrong version. Is there a difference? The 4 a.m. version doesn't count if I don't remember saying it once I've slept." "You'll remember," I said. "I plan on bringing it up constantly." He almost smiled. An actual, unguarded thing, gone as fast as it appeared, but I'd seen it, and I understood then that I would spend an unreasonable amount of energy over the coming weeks trying to see it again. Here's the part I still turn over. The part I genuinely want to know how other people see. Was he ever really cold, or was I just meeting a scared, overworked man on his worst days and calling it his character? I've decided it doesn't fully matter anymore. What matters is that on the one night everything fell apart around us, we built something small and steady between us instead. Not because the crisis made us brave, but because it stripped away the time we'd both been using to avoid each other. 2 months later, he still corrects my knots. But now he does it standing close enough that I can feel him not quite touching my shoulder, And he says it like a joke we're both in on. And some nights, when the pager stays blessedly silent and the hallway lights hum low, he brings 2 coffees to the nurse's station instead of 1 and doesn't say why and doesn't have to.